Morning all, how are we doing? I'll whip back over the mornings. Morning. There we got. Morning Terry, morning Derek, morning Colin, morning Kevin, morning John. Morning Fred. Morning Miss T. Morning Stuart. Everybody's slowly creeping in. I can see the numbers slowly creeping up and creeping in. Morning Paul. Morning John. Evening Bob.
Make me all dirty.
Morning Mike. Morning Andy. Morning Roger. Morning Shay. I'm looking down at the iPad. Morning Steve, yes I'm well. Morning Anne. Cold. The south of England, the Garden of England had frost this morning. Winter is upon us. I'm just messing around here with an iPad. Right. Morning Grant. Morning Robert. I'll stop looking down at the iPad now. I was just trying to set it up. Mrs. Oliver's in the house. She said, oh, I'll come over and read the chat for you in case anybody's got any questions. I can read them out. She don't want to be on camera. They can hear you though.
I'm not minus a celebrity.
You got no frost? Well, we're in the Garden of England, Derek, here. Just outside of Ashford in Kent is the true garden. Morning John. Morning Russell. Clock is in your house, behave. Morning Fred. So Mrs. Oliver, if you have any intelligent questions throughout this demonstration and she doesn't know how to get paint off the chuck, Derek, you could ask away and she might be able to repeat them to me without the sarcasm of Joseph, because Joseph is asleep in his little bed tucked up. He's had a hard week at school.
I don't even know how to repeat.
Morning Ivor. You just type.
What, on there?
Yeah, no, on the iPad it was set up.
Oh.
It was going. What we got? Morning Leslie. Shh, don't mention the hairdryer, Leslie. I've hidden it. Mustn't tell her about that. Yeah, Mrs. Oliver takes the mickey. She says, oh, minor celebrity, you're on telly. And she doesn't realise everybody can hear everything she says because the microphones in here are stunning. Stunning. Morning Malcolm. Morning anybody I missed while I was looking down. Morning Hans. We're nearly ready. 4 minutes. People are slowly waking up and coming in. Sunny winter. I like these sort of mornings, nice and crisp and bright. Don't like the dark mornings where it's hacking down the rain and winds gusting around. That's horrible, isn't it? Morning, Clive. Shh, Shay, don't mention money. Not with Mrs. Oliver about. Let's keep that to ourselves. Shh. Like, if I fish in my pockets, I can't find anything. There's nothing I've got now. Skint. Morning, Paul. Morning, Nick. Good morning, Four Kings. Alright. Few minutes and we'll get going. Terry, it's like that here. It's not a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful blue, crisp morning. Proper sort of what you would like to see for a winter morning. Sooner have summer. Bit of heat, sunshine, all that sort of stuff. But if it's going to be cold, if it's bright and cold, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? Hi, Rob. I had a change of direction this morning. I was planning on doing one thing, and then I had a sudden rush of blood to the one cell that still works in my little head. I'm going to do something completely different. Still involving turning and colouring. I think it's all just been a bit safe the last couple of weeks. Someone passed a comment, bit safe. Yeah, I know, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a bit safe. So, yeah. I used to get spending money, John, but I don't get it anymore because I don't go out because lockdown. And, yeah, we just got out of the habit of going out. So now I get a treat on the Tesco's shopping. This week's was licorice. I got a bag of licorice. So all my efforts was for a bag of licorice. Oh, morning, Mr. Walt. Boy Scout, all that. Elena, good morning. Morning, Kevin. Living to the max, Malcolm. Not on the edge, to the max. Here we go, to the max. Right, you lovely people. Would it be a snowman? Ooh, that'd be telling. Well, the saga of the Broadband. My Broadband saga. Let me tell you this quickly before we start. The shop shut. Everybody knows shop shut. I do a bit of click and collect. Morning, Morley. Morning, James. Morning, Grant. So, yesterday morning, we were busy doing what we do, you know, putting the orders on the screen, getting ready to pick and pack them, put them on the carrier, send them out to you guys, all that stuff. And a fella walks through the door of the barn into the shop, and I said to Karen, what don't people understand about the shop being shut? So, down the stairs I went, because I've gotten upstairs, went down the stairs to confront this guy and to sort of say, sorry mate, the shop's shut. If you want to pick something up, stand outside, I'll sort it out for you. And he was the open reach engineer. An open reach engineer, how fantastic. I thought, whoopee doody. High-speed broadband, here we come. So, he's come in and he's explaining what he's going to do. And I said, oh, fantastic. So I said, and he's got two massive bits of kit, you know, proper go in these iron cabinets. And he's installed this kit. And I said, how do I connect to the net then? He said, oh, no, you don't connect to the net on this. I said, what? He said, no. He said, now I've done this. He said, I go off and do a bit at the exchange. He said, no, I shut the job down. I said, shut the job down? He said, yeah. He said, and then your provider, the person that you're coming through, will contact you and install a router so you can connect to my high-end bit of kit and liven it all up. I said, how long does that take? He said, I don't know. So now I've got fibre cable, I've got two big bits of kit, the fibre's all connected in it, there's lights on the box. You can't plug into it. straight in. So, email off to the provider, and hopefully, who knows, you might be able to watch this in detail, because we have to stream at a low bit rate to try and keep the stream continuous for you. And you may be able to get it in more definition in the not too distant future. So, that's my little story of the broadband. There was a high and then another low. So, everybody I've missed while I've been waffling on, good morning. And thanks for popping along. I know it's nice and bright and cold, and you're better off indoors. Morning, Brian. And good morning, anybody I've missed. So, the plan today. We're going to be turning some, to the camera, some, notice I say some little bowls. And we're going to colour them. These are like little rice bowls. The blanks are about 5 inches in diameter. And I've pre-drilled so I can bang them on the chuck. And we're going to colour as we go along. We're going to have a plain one and a colour and a colour. And it's going to be like the evolution of bowl turning to show you what we do. Now, someone was talking about selling your work and this sort of stuff. So what normally happens, the hobby wood turner, buy a bowl blank. He'll take it home, he'll put it on his lathe, and he'll spend a couple of 3 hours turning his masterpiece of a bowl. And he'll take that bowl to market, to a little craft fair. Not at the moment, obviously. But to his little craft fair. And he'll go and sell his bowl. If his blanks cost him, I don't know, £5, he'll sell his bowl for £6, £7, £8, if you're lucky, a tenner. And he'll sell it for a tenner. Or £6 or whatever. And you sort of look at it and think, well, that guy has spent 3 or 4 hours producing that bowl. His blanks cost him £5. His finishes and that cost him 50p a pound. So he's valued his 3 hours bowl turning at £1 an hour. Well, I don't know anybody that works for £1 an hour. It's actually illegal. I couldn't pay someone £1 an hour. I'd like to, but you can't. So, I work though for a bag of licorice a week. So how do we compete? Well, we can compete by turning bowls smarter and quicker if you're needing to earn your money out of your wood turning. So I'm going to demonstrate this in stages. So what we're going to do first is just a little bowl. So I'll come to the overhead now. And we're just going to bang this bowl blank onto our chuck. Expand the chuck out. Oh, no, I didn't expand the chuck out there like a dummy. I tightened it up, which is no good. I've got to expand it out, other direction. Oliver's awake this morning. This is going to go awfully well, isn't it? So I've expanded my chuck out onto my bowl blank. Make sure she's on there tight. Now, I'm not, as we go along, going to say to you, this is what you should be doing, because it's going to get a bit dangerous. So it's not for the inexperienced, but this is the experienced way. So the inexperienced way. So we get our bowl blank attached to our lathe. For safety, we bring up our live centre. And just trap it between centres well. Now we're ultra safe. We're trapped between centres. We've got good fixing on the chuck. Who never lined up their headstock this morning? Me. How's that? That's better. Right, so we turn our lathe speed down. And we're going to use something different. Some of you, let's come back here, will know that I started stocking Hamlet tools. This is a Hamlet bowl gouge. 3/8 bowl gouge, long grind, nice chunky handle, and I bought in Hamlet as an alternative to the brand that I stock, Robert Saltby, and the only reason is speed of delivery. These are made from M2 high speed steel, so they hold their edge well, and we're going to christen it on our little bowl. So back to our overhead camera. Lathe speed down, turn it on, safety glasses on. Whoop, there we go. Up we go. And we turn the speed up. It's only a little blank. So I'll turn the speed up a bit. We're up at about 1000 RPM. Tool into my side. Low handle. Raise the bevel. Just travel along the tool rest at the speed the wood is coming over the cutting edge. And we bring it to round. A couple of passes should do us. As you can see, hopefully, a continuous flow of shavings. That shows that I'm allowing the wood to be cut. Just enough pressure on the cutting edge so that as the fibres are removed, the tool advances. Just nice and gentle. Nothing heavy. There. And now we've brought our bowl blank to round. There's no torn grain. We've not forced the cut. I watched Mike last week demonstrate speed of cut. Now I use this in my teaching method, so I'll show you something. I've shown you this before. If you use a pencil and travel the pencil at the speed that you should be going, you shade in the wood. If you move too fast, your pencil skips. Shaded, right speed. You might not see these lines too clearly. Spiral sort of lines. And we're moving faster than the wood's coming over the tool. So now we're going to pick up the cut and just bring our shape in. So as I'm cutting here, I'm raising my handle and twisting my right hip into the lathe to form my curve. I'm making use of the full wing of the gouge. As I do this, and you can see I'm cutting away quite a lot of wood. And I'm getting my curve to my bowl. Like so. And I flow my curve round so I get a nice curve on my bowl going round. So then,
You want to know what wood it is?
the wood's a secret. It's sycamore. This is all being done with sycamore today. This is 3" by 5 sycamore blank. And now what I'm going to do is just flatten off the bottom, move the live centre out of the way, remove it from the tailstock, because you know what happens, it will jump out and get you. Stab you in the elbow. I don't want to be stabbed in the elbow, so that's out of the way, tailstock's out of the way. Now I'm going to bring my tool rest round and flatten this bottom off, ready to put a fix in for our chuck mount. Tool rest is a little high, drop that down a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Now just coming through, get rid of that pip on centre. There. Move my tool rest up. I'm dropping that down just by a mil or so. I'll take a little bit more off the bottom there. Somewhere there. Just making sure that's flat. There. So now we've got our mounting on, which will be a little spigot. You know the drill. Vernier. 46mm-ish. Left hand point scores the line. Right hand point shows you when you're in centre, and you scribe a line. Wrong camera, let's try that camera. We scribe a line so that, let's use a pencil so you can see it. There, you should be able to see that. So my left pointer scribed the line, and the outside, the opposite side, this side, lines up with the right hand vernier point, so I know I'm in centre. So that's where my spigot's going to go. I can move my tool rest round. Now, a lot of people say, when you're moving your tool rest, and when you're starting out, you move your tool rest with it stopped so you don't catch anything. Once you're a bit more proficient, you can move your tool rest with it spinning. It's quite safe, you've got no sharp edges. Worst comes to worst, as long as you're not banging things around, if you brush it, you're going to mark the bottom of your bowl. So, but if you're not comfortable with that, stop the lathe. If you are comfortable with it, you can do it. Don't have anything in your hands. So as you know, I cut my spigots with my skew. So my skew comes in. As I come in, it's like a peeling cut. I raise my handle. I'll watch on this opposite side for the fibres to come to my scribe line. That there. Now I've got a bit of swoof there, so I'm just going to clean that off with the tip. There. That there. Get rid of that swoof over there, just a tad further to go. There. Get rid of that bit of swoof with the top. And that should be our spigot. We got to make sure, obviously, this is flat and there's no light, so the jaws are going to fit tightly up against that. So we got a little spigot. Now the spigot there is about 4mm, 3mm for safety. Just coming in again. Just make that a little deeper, and we'll check that. Still nice and flat. Lovely, nice and flat. So this will be the bottom of our bowl, And I've just got a little bit of torn grain where I've forced that cut along, so I can just tidy that up with a real fine cut. And obviously we can tidy this up properly when we was to reverse again. So there's our outside of our bowl done. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to drop this down, and because I don't want to sand too much, I'm just going to use the wing of the tool, run round here and do like a shear cut. Just brushing the gouge backwards and forwards. Refine our curve and make sure that we're ready to sand quite quickly. Okay? Now, that looks like it's about ready. We'll tidy the outside up in a minute. So what we're going to do now is remove this from chuck mount in 1. Chuck mount in 2. We're coming on to the spigot, so I'm opening up my jaws, back to the old overhead, boom, open up my jaws, tighten down on that, pinch up, quarter of a turn, that should be enough. And I can see that there's no gap between the jaws and the face of the wood, and I've got like a little 4mm or so gap in there, so I can see that the wood's gripped fine. So I'll turn my speed down, turn the lathe on, turn it up, and she's running true here. Fancy a bit here because we've done nothing with that, but true here, so we're about right. So I can bring my tool rest up, and then I'll face my blank off, turn my speed up a bit, back to me sort of 1000 RPM, just gentle cut, pick this up, just travel the tool in, there. Now I want my bowl to be a bit shallower. Part of the reason why I use pencil. About there, I think. Just raise the handle as we go. Nice and gently. There. So we're ready to go. So I'm just going to tally up the outside. Make sure that we're right there. Turn my gouge over. Notice I'm now turning away from the chuck because we don't want to turn into the chuck. When we start, because we don't want to do this, slip and dig into the chuck. So that looks fairly okay there. That's good enough surface to sand, and then we'll come round and we'll holler our bowl like so. So now I've got my gouge on centre, so I can rub the back of my bevel, lean forward, score a line, rotate my arm and hollow. Forward, rotate my arm, and hollow. Yeah. Yeah, we sell the chestnut product tack cloths in packs of 3 or packs of 10. No comments about the packs of 3. Change cameras. Yeah, I can do that, Mike. You want it over there, don't you? Is that the one? That's the one. So you can see it's quite an easy action coming into here to hollow the bowl. There. If I want to do that faster, I turn the lathe speed up. So we're now up at around about 1400 RPM. There, and I just keep going. Now I want to get a bit deeper. So I'm going to start in the middle. As I come back, I'm using the bevel so I come back on the bevel, lean the handle forward as I want to pick the cut up. And away I go. Now I've got one little problem. My tool rest is in the way of my handle. But nice and easy. Now you can see I'm over the lathe bed and my arms are having to come away from my body. I'm going to have to swap a gouge purely because my handle's a bit longer on the Hamlet.
What grind is on the chisel?
The grind on the chisel is a long grind, about 45 degrees. It really doesn't matter this degrees thing. Let's stop that. Come back here, overhead. So mine's a long grind, bit longer than the fingernail, and it's ground at about 45 degrees here as a bevel angle. It doesn't matter if it's 40, 45, 50, 35, it's whatever you want. The old boy that I learnt with, Tom, he grinds his to 35 and he says 35 stays sharper longer. I don't know that it does or doesn't, haven't got a clue. This is just the way that I started grinding my tools when I started turning, and it works for me, so I'm happy with it. Different people will grind to different angles. The only thing I do grind differently is I've got a bowl gouge to 60 degrees. So if I'm doing a deep bowl, Mrs. Oliver's on the case. Do you need change camera? You heard that obviously, because she doesn't realise the mic picks her up as well. You'll see how much I get. See how much I get moaned at now. In this next hour and a half, I guarantee you'll feel sorry for me. So, I've got a bowl gouge at 60 degrees because it's shallower. I can get the curve to the inside of the bowl. I bring my hand down here because when you start getting deep, the heel can catch. You can grind the heel away. So this was a 3-inch bowl blank and you'll be able to see that we can keep a nice even curve quite easily with a 45. So now I'm going to come here, out a bit, handle away from me. Slowly follow the curve of the bowl round. Into the bottom of the bowl. And there. Nice and gently following it around, following the curve round. Now, if you don't want to join the funnel club, check your distance. So what I'm doing is come back overhead. I can use my thumb as a guide, come to there, and I can see I've got an inch to play with there on the bottom. So I can go a bit deeper. So I can just come in now, pick up the edge. Keep twisting my right hip away from the lathe. I got a little bit of chatter because I'm pushing the tool a little bit. If I lay down and relax, I can go through there without the chatter. The chatter is caused by too much pressure. Just going to come down here, one last cut. Into the bottom of our bowl. And just check this, we're a little bit thick, about halfway down, thick in the bottom. So now I can just balance that out. What was the question?
It gets a raised centre. How can you avoid it?
It gets a raised centre. But you get a raised centre because you're bringing your arm back too quick. So in the bottom of the bowl, hold on, overhead. In the bottom of the bowl, as you come in, you raise your hand back, so you actually start coming uphill, just a fraction, and you get a pit. You've got to keep the flow round and keep your gouge flowing level so that your cutting edge is coming through dead on centre, and you're not on the upward slope. You're coming on the upward slope before you get to the centre mark there, so you come uphill a little bit and you keep the flow going round. So it's all about the timing. So you're in centre, on centre, in the centre. Centre, centre, centre. So I'm just going to take just a tad out of here now. Take the pressure off the cut. That noise is because we're getting thinner. And you will get a bit of vibration through your bowl if you push too hard at something like 10 mil. If you want to take it ultra thin, you've got to learn to back the pressure off. Now it could be that I'm just thinking about your question about the pip in the middle. As I'm coming round here, my gouge is just catching to the edge of the bowl. So that will start to push me out and up. So that's when having the heel ground off, or using, if I can find me flat 60, it's here somewhere I'm sure. No, I don't know where it is. It's gone missing. Your 60-degree bowl gouge would give you a bit more flow around. I don't know what I've done with that. I thought it was here safely, but it's not. Anyway, that's another reason. So you could be on the edge of your bowl and it's pushing you away. So I'm just picking up my cut here, just gently. Through to the middle. Let's fill that. There's a little line I can just fill in the bottom there. So let me get rid of that line. I can see it. I can see it. That's got rid of it. So there's our little rice bowl. Part one. So what we're going to do to finish our little rice bowl. Yeah, I've got remote control from the extraction. Karen, could you go down and push the green button on the extraction, please? Fantastic. I've cleared the path for you. Right, so a quick bit of sanding. We're going to sand this off really quickly. And apply some wax, and this is going to be an uncoloured rice bowl. Don't worry, you won't get bored. So let me sand this off quickly. Starting at 120 because I had a little line just at the top here. There, and then we just come on the inside. Now this is really quick because this is 180. Trim, whoop. Inside, $240. Check that. Nice. Nice, baby. Remote control operator, you can turn the extraction system. Oh, there's a question. Where's the question?
How do you turn a secondary bevel on a pro edge?
You just set the table to, if you've cut 45, set it to 40 or something. If you're using a long grind jig, you can, if you're doing it on the 45, take it to the 40 step and just take the heel off, or the other way round.
So let's think about upgrading his lathe. He wants to use
So, thank you. So, tack cloth, just wipe the dust off. There. Now, what we're going to do here is let's make our rice bowl just a little bit different. So we bring the tool rest into here, halfway up, and get our skew, Barney McHugh, and we're just going to cut a little V cut in there, and we'll stick with one. So I put a little V cut in there, and I've got a bit of formica here. I'm just going to line that up on the V cut, push it in, let it burn in a line, and we've added a little line just to edge off the top of our bowl, and we're just going to polish this one up. So, last week you saw me, anybody that was watching, that is, anybody that's stupid enough to come back this week, use cut and polish for the first time. I was quite impressed with it. We didn't finish that bowl, but obviously we're going to finish this one here. So I'm going to use this cut and polish again, wipe that in. Colours coming next, not on this one. This is going to be little, just a little finished bowl. I'm just going to wipe that in there. Get that in round the rim. Lovely, lovely, lovely. In there, round there, in there, round there, down here. Right. Someone was saying upgrading a lathe to a bigger one. Get a VB36. That's a monster. It depends what you want to do, really. Floor standing lathe, what space you've got, what your budget is.
It's the AW355.
Is that a desktop lathe, or I'm not familiar with the new Axminster part numbers, they changed them all. So we let this wait for about a minute. If it's a floor stander, it depends on your budget, where you're going to go. You know, you can buy a small floor stander for £1,000. If you really want to go for a future-proof lathe, then you've got something like the Stratos 180 or the 230, but you're paying sort of £1.5 to £2,000 for those. But you know, that will turn a 230. Mike Walt had one. Ask Mike, he's got the big XL now. But that will turn, you know, 20-inch bowls over the side. You're not restricted. Your headstock comes out. It's a nice heavy lathe. Huh?
You've got a bench top on the stand.
A bench top on the stand. So you're a floor standing cast iron sort of lathe now is what you want. You know, the Stratos there is a cracking bit of kit. That would be my recommendation.
What's that, £1,500?
You'd be looking at the 1,500 quid-ish. You'd be looking at the 180. FU 180, nice bit of kit there, similar to what I'm using here. This is the original Axminster 1628. It's 6.5 years old. When I bought it, they were only 1,400 quid. The 180 is probably the equivalent lathe to that. Axminster day, I think they're about £2,000. 180 is nearer your budget of the sort of 1,600 quid mark. So I've worked in this cut and polish. And you can see it already puts a shine on our bowl. And then we're just going to use a quick bit of microcrystalline wax. So the first one was the chestnut cut and polish. If I turn it upside down, you in Australia can read it. If anybody's from Australia, that is. If you're not, then that was wasted. So now we're going to use the microcrystalline wax that I used last week. There, microcrystalline, chestnut microcrystalline, and I'm just putting this on here. Now I've opened the tin, you see, I've got to use it. So the secret of putting on wax, that way we're coming to the colour. Not on this one, on the next one. I told you there's going to be a few. I'm looking at my time, we're all right, we've got plenty of time to get these all in. So I just put this on, nice coat of that. Now the secret of putting on wax, if you put on so much that you can see it, you've put on too much wax and you'll be buffing it off for ages and you could get lines in it. So just better off, thin coat, buff it, and a second coat if that's what you want.
Have you tried Hampshire grit?
Have I tried Hampshire grit? Hampshire grit, no. I could get some Hampshire sheen wax and put some grit in it, I suppose, see what happens. Combine the two. So I'm just buffing that up, supporting one hand with the other as I go. In there, in the inside. Just got to get that little bit of wax out of that black line. There. There. Now, if we want to make that shiny out, we give it a second thin coat. That's what I say. It's far better off to apply a coat, buff it, and give it a second coat, rather than trying to do it all in one go. So, bit of paper towel, there, spin that up, buff that up. So this is just a basic, let the wood do the talking, bit of sycamore, little rice bowl, like so. Let's come back over here. There we go. Get up to the camera, little rice bowl, little black line in it. Gives it a little bit inside, nice and shiny, lovely. And then we'd mount that on our whatever system you want to use. Should we do that quickly? We're not going to do this with everyone because it's time to have some fun. But let's do this. Turn the lathe speed down. I'm going to use a Longworth style chuck. Put that into there. Make sure that's done up. There. And then I can bring this in, put my bowl in there, bring it into there.
Is cut and polish food safe?
Not as far as I know. No, it's not a finish. If you want to use a food safe finish wax, then you use the Hampshire Sheen High Gloss or the Chestnut Products Wood Wax 22. I think both are food safe. There'll be some other food safe ones done. But the cut and polish is like an abrasive paste, like Yorkshire Grit is an abrasive paste. Oh, change cameras, right. So I'm overhead. Sorry, I was waffling along there. I put the Longworth chuck on to the chuck. Just brought the plate in. It'd be better on that one. Brought the plate in. Oh, look, yeah, both of them. And now all I'm doing is tightening the buttons up. They're nice and soft so they don't mark the edge of your bowl. There. Make sure they're all done up. And as you tighten down, the rubber is soft. It expands to the edge of the bowl. Grips the bowl quite securely. Bring the tool rest around to centre. There. Just check it with my bowl gouge. Make sure I'm coming through on centre. Down a little bit. There. Turn the lathe on. Turn the speed up. Now, if you use Longworths, they recommend not to spin above 600 RPM. So we're just on the 600. And I'm just going to come in, pick this up. Raise the handle as I go. No real pressure. Nice and gentle. Gentle, gentle. You see how slow it takes to come along. Don't be in a hurry to get to the centre. Let the wood cut. And then I'll just pick the cut up there. Just bring another little cut in here. Everybody stop talking. We might join the funnel club. Not going to. So I'm just going to take another little cut. And what I'm doing here is just taking a cut, bring my arm back and sort of putting a little hollow on the bottom of the bowl. A little concave surface so that the bowl will always sit nicely on the tabletop or work surface or wherever you're going to put it. Put that middle bit out there. There. Now, I'm not going to bore you with sanding. I could sand this, put a bit of decoration in the bottom, put my maker's mark on it, all that sort of stuff. That's our Longworth chuck and a little rice bowl, natural wood for Mike Walt, because he don't like colour, although if anybody on Facebook can see Mike Walt has been messing around with colours. Do I use a preference? And normally on the bottom of a bowl, a full-size bowl, I use a spigot and clamp down onto it, and then I reverse it, turn it away, do whatever I'm going to do with the bottom of the bowl, and the job's done. Coal jaws, are they better than the Longworth chucks? I think the Longworth chuck is simpler. Someone sent me a Longworth chuck a couple of years ago. I started using it about a year ago, and it's my preferred method because I can get in there. Coal jaws, you're adjusting all the feet round, screwing them in, do the same sort of thing, but this centralises it. So there. So then we've got, back to that camera, we've got a little rice bowl. Would have been sanded, you know, finished little rice bowl over there, over here, there, little rice bowl. So that's a little rice bowl. So that's how we turn a basic bowl. So I said we're going to speed things up a little bit. So we are going to speed things up a little bit. So wind me chuck in. Said we're going to do a few bowls, didn't I? This is number 2. So, wind me chuck in. This time I'll remember to expand the jaws. There. Expand the jaws on. Turn my lathe speed down. Turn the lathe speed on. Make sure she's on. That's cool. She's on. What I'm going to do now... Oh, sorry. Come back to the overhead. So, I bang this on my chuck. Expanded my chuck into my socket. I had a socket in the bottom of the bowl. Keep forgetting. Mrs. Oliver Fowles, she was supposed to tell me. So, there, bang it on, expand the jaws, little socket, it's gripped okay. Turn the lathe speed down, turn the lathe on, turn the speed up, make sure she's okay. So it's going to get a little bit quicker. So what I'm going to do now is rotate my headstock out just a little bit. Last week we did a push cut, so we're going to do a similar sort of thing here. So we're going to come up, it is going to be a push cut.
One can say
Camera. Right, so now we're just bringing our tool rest headstock out a little bit. Got that? We've got our tool. We're not going to round the outside of the bowl to bring it into balance. We're just going to turn the lathe on, turn the speed up, and we're whipping the speed back up to about 1000 RPM. Back of the bevel, come in, pick the cut up, and start putting our shaping straight away. Don't force the cut, let the tool move. That noise is on a bit hard for the speed I'm going. I'm twisting my body away from the lathe, right hip away from the lathe, pushing through the wood. I'm feeding the gouge through my fingers as I go, and I get quite a good surface there. And you can see I'm getting the shape. I can bring my tool rest round a bit for a bit of support there. Back of the bevel again. Little cut. I had to reposition myself there. I want to get back on there. Somewhere there. It's not too sad. And you see I've got this rim that I'll tidy up in a minute. Just come round here now. Got my tool rest in. Make sure I've got my curve. I'm going to get rid of a bit of this waste here. And then just pick me cut up here. Bring me curve round. I want to get rid of this rim. Now I don't like the shape of that, so I'm going to just come back the other way. Thank you, David, that's very kind of you. That's where my thing's coming in, and then I'll just bring this around. Not happy with the shape of that at all, so I'll just bring it around.
Is it a dovetail mortise?
At the moment, yeah, it's a mortise, but it's parallel because I'm only in around about a few mil. I just want to bring this curve round a bit. I'm trying to leave a bit on the bottom here. That's it, that's going to be my socket. I've got a bump there I want to get rid of. There. And I just bring my curve in there a little bit. Filter me it to the lathe. Somewhere there. Just clean this off, and then I'm going to put me face this blank off here. Yeah. I use a spigot again, so I move the tool rest round. Come on the end camera, vernier. Left point, scribe a line, line it up with the right point. When I'm lined up, push her in. That's me spigot. I move my tool rest back round. See, I'm doing all of this while not stopping the lathe. Feed this in to my line, tidy this up. A little bit deeper on that. Get rid of that bit of swarf there. Make sure I'm square there. I can do that on the back of my gouge. And then I can bring my tool in. Just cut that down a bit. Bring my curve under. Oh, that was me digging in. There's enough for my thing to get onto. Got me curve roughly where I want it. Stop my lathe. put me spigot into there. Now you see I've left a bit of waste wood there because I'm just going to fine tune this as I go. Pinch it up, quarter of a turn. I can see that that's sitting okay. That's sitting alright, a bit out of the top, but we'll sort that out now. So first I'm going to face me blank off a little bit. Come through here. I want to save that gouge. Saving the gouge for Ron. I'll do Ron. Face that off. Now I'll start putting me curve in. Tool rest is just a little bit high. Drop that down a tad. I know that because of the height of my handle. So I want to get a bit quicker here, so I turn the speed up a bit. We're up at around about 1400. There's a bit of noise now because I'm pushing the gouge. Because I'm just trying to get the wood away. Same principle as before. Lean into the lathe. You can hear the chatters back. I'm just trying to get the wood away and make this a bit quicker bowl. Pick the cut up on the edge. And now I start taking slightly finer cuts on the inside so that I get a finishing cut on the inside. Huh? Thanks very much, Paul. It's kind of you. I've got that chatter there because I'm forcing the tool. Now I'm going to pick it up real fine. We're back there. That's the inside done. Now I've come back to the outside, just tidy this up quickly because where I was forcing the cut I've got a little bit of torn grain. I left a bit on the end there because I am going to turn towards the chuck, so I'm just going to pick me cut up here real light. No pressure here, just lift and twist as I go. let's come back the other way, get rid of a bit of that swoof there. Into there. Got a little bump there, so just going to come over, a little shear cut.
Are you looking at your cup or do you feel it on the internal?
Am I?
Do you look at the cut on the internal or do you just feel it?
I don't really look now, I just feel it as I go. If I look on the opposite face. So I look on this face while I'm cutting this side, because I can see my cut line coming down. So that's all I need to do. I've got a little bump there, I just want to bring in to a curve. So now, thanks Mike Walt, very kind of you. Huh? Yeah, well, that ain't going to last. Mrs. Oliver, extraction please. So this bowl I said was going to be a bit quicker. So I'm not going to stop the lathe. I'm straight in, sanding this off. Oh, this sander's broken. They give up after a while, especially if you push hard. So I'll just come down to here. Sand that into there. Rim. Inside. Now, I'll come round here, get that in there. $240. $320. Last one, bit of 400. Now, what I'm going to do is just remove the dust with the tack cloth while she's spinning into there, just gently. That'll do. Now we've got chestnut spirit stained dye. This is royal blue. And some chestnut cellulose sanding sealer. Now, what they say is you don't put the sanding sealer on until the stuff is dried. Might not get it on the tool because I can't get the lid off. Oh, I need a pair of pliers. Hold on a second. This was supposed to be quicker. Karen's in the way. Can't get the lid off the tin. Right, lid's off the tin. So, what I was saying, they say don't let the stain dry. No expense spared. New bit of paper towel. And we're just going to wipe this on here while it's spinning. Get plenty on there, like that. Now if you use a bit of cellulose sanding sealer while it's wet, you can remove some of the dye and put a sheen to it and sort of lines in it. Like so. So I'm removing some of the stain, lost the lid. And I'm just going to push this paper towel into there, make sure she's dry. Like that. Bit of wax, the screwdriver. Thin bit of wax. I'm just lightly touching that onto there, spreading the wax around. Bit of paper towel. Buff the wax up. Wax on, wax off. Mr. Miyagi. So we can put another little bit of wax on there, second coat. Another buff off. And then obviously we would wax the inside and all that sort of stuff. Now, when we do that, we can build it up. And we get a little bowl with a nice sheen to it, little blue bowl. And where we've dragged the lines, you get these lines coming through. You should just be able to see that. And can you see all the sort of silvery shimmer that you can make on that? If I bring it back, lighting, that's my next investment, is a bit of lighting, but you can see the shimmer there hopefully, and that's how you do a quicker bowl. And obviously what you would do is batch do them. So when we batch do them, thank you very much Pat, very kind of you,
And Malcolm.
thank you Malcolm. So that gives you a sheen, and that's a quicker bowl. But we can get quicker.
God, I'm moving.
We can get quicker. So what we would do if we were production turning bowls to earn some money out of it, we've got to be quicker. And we've got to have sharp tools. And we've got to go for it. So what we're going to do now is we've got a couple of blanks. Okay, over a camera, couple of blanks. So you would have a batch of blanks done. Get a batch of blanks done, and you would do your outside shapes and then your inside shapes. So we put our blank on. Make sure she's on, nice and secure. Expand that out. I check the blanks for cracks. Now this is where it can go a little bit wrong, alright? So be wary. This is not for a little hobby turner to take on and think, oh, I'll have a go at that. Do not attempt this unless you've got some sort of tool control. And I mean tool control. So I'm going to go with a new gouge. Make sure I'm on centre. I'm going to turn my lathe speed on. I'm turning my lathe speed up. Now I'm using the power of the lathe, and this can go wrong. So we're at 2000 RPM. I pick the cutter up and I come round and rip the wood away. There's my outside shape. I'll come along, clean the bottom off. I'm not going to bother with a spigot. I go 50mm. I can put a mark on my tool rest really and say, right, I'm going to have a spigot in about there. I haven't got a lot to hold on there, so I'm going to make that bottom a bit flatter. Just give me a bit more to hold on to. Don't want to expand into it and have no timber. There's roughly my size, and I get a little skew coming there and cut a socket. And what I'm doing, oh sorry, it's come on, you'll see the next one. I cut a socket. Now I'm just shaping the bottom so that it's convex, but I don't want it convex where my jaws are going, so I make sure I've got a flat on there, blend that flat into here, something like that. Make sure that's there. There. So, that's one. I've released that from the chuck. Bring on my second blank. Make sure she's on. Make sure she's done. Bring this up, bring the tool rest in, lock it off, turn the lathe on. Get ready and get straight in. Swapping tools to make sure I've got a sharp tool. Flatten my bottom off. Somewhere there. Tool rest there. Cut that out of the way, skew in here, get rid of that. So I'm just going to add this convex shape as my bottom. Make sure she's flat to my jaws. There. That'll do me for a minute. Then I can whip out of there. Into an expansion at this side. Make sure she's on. Now what I would do normally is turn it on full speed. We'll turn it up and turn it down. Make sure she's running all right. And you would do this there, and we'll come round to the side because my shape's not quite right, but I can just fine tune that now. Rub the back of the bevel into the bowl. There, and now I just fine tune this around the outside, get rid of that bit. Leave myself enough to hang on to. And now I just roll my gouge over. Fine tune the outside so I'm not doing too much sanding. Drop my tool rest down, bring my tool rest into centre, lock it all off and start hollowing. I can get rid of that bounce bit. There. And then I can chop down from the inside this cone I'm leaving in the middle, and that's what can happen, that's why it's dangerous. So we'll stop that. We'll put this one on. I did say it can be dangerous, that's why I had a spare. So I'll come on, expand that out. Yeah, she's good. So we go again. The socket just wasn't deep enough, I don't think. And I was pushing it a bit hard. Mrs. Oliver had moved out of the way. I'm just bringing the cutter in. Now get rid of some of this waste. Fine cut round here. Into the middle, get rid of this cone. Then start getting rid of that. I'll pick up a very fine cut. Into the middle. And I just got to get rid of this cone in the middle. There's the bottom of my bowl. I've just stopped the lathe. I just want to check that. All right there. And I'll just bring it out to the outside. Normally you wouldn't stop the lathe if you're going for it. You just don't. And I just want to tidy up the outside of this. There, oh, goes down, and now the last bit is the rim. And to tidy that off, careful with my tool rest there. I'm just going to pick a cut up, just take that rim down. Somewhere there, bit of detail. I'll chamfer the rim in. Bit of extraction. And there, on the inside. Hello. The inside. Oh, come on. Take long to get the sandpaper on. And there we have it, a quick bowl. You can get fine tuned with these, so you can do them quick. Now, I spent some time with a fellow called Mark Stanger. Some of you will know Mark, excellent turner, fantastic artist. And I spent a bit of time with Mark, and I was doing something, and he said to me, how quick do you turn a bowl? And I back then did it, and I think it took me about half an hour, 40 minutes. But he said, I can show you a way to be quicker. You've got to be quicker if you want to earn some money out of it. So I said, okay. So he showed me how to do a bowl in simple movements. With practice, the quickest I've ever done one of these little rice bowls and to like a 6mm wall thickness and nice and even all the way down was just a tad under 5 minutes. So that's what you can get to. So bit of colouring. We've got here unicorn spit, but this time we're going to use it as a water-based dye. So you can see I've just put a couple of drips in the bottom of the cup. So I'm now going to add water. My water gun's run out. Don't know why that's not firing. Oh, it is now. Now you can see those couple of drips have made up quite a lot of paint, and it's still a deep colour. So it's not just for paint pouring. So I can put a bit of water-based dye on here and brush it on. Now I've done this quite thin because this is like a wash, so you can see the grain through the wood. And I should put my gloves on as per normal. I'm now covered in paint. Right.
If you go that fast, can you get the same size over and over to make a set?
Yes. With practice, because you're moving your body to get the shape, yes I can. You know, these I've not done this technique for a long while, but if you stood there for a little while, because your shape is coming off your body, you will get a consistent. Didn't mix up enough there. I'm going to have to mix up a bit more. You can get a consistent shape, and you do it in a number of cuts. You know, you can do it in literally. I'll tell you what, we'll try something else. You can do it in literally X number of cuts, so you know what your cut rate will be. So, for instance, we were spinning at about 2,000 there. If I was spinning at, and I'm not advocating doing this, so please don't think, oh, I've got to have a go. If I was spinning at around about 2,500 revs, I think I could do the outside in 5-6 cuts. I'm just sanding that back a little bit. It's wet sanding, so I haven't bothered with the extractor. And what we're going to add to this is a bit of purple. A few drops of purple in there. So you count the number of cuts. As old turners, some of you may know. Martin Pigeon, and he earned his money years ago out of making light pools, and I was chatting to him at a show. I said, Martin, how long does a light pool take you? And he went, 11 cuts. That's how he counted it, 11 cuts. No, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. It was 11 cuts. So now I'm using a purple over the blue. I'm just washing it on, using it like a wash. There, I've got a bit more, so I'll use a bit more. Waste not, want not. Can't waste anything. Mrs. Oliver's in the house. What are you doing with that? You're wasting that. She don't really talk like that. That was her mother. So then we'll go. Lost me sander. Oh, I'll put it somewhere safe, right under my nose. So now I'm just going to sand this off. Dry sanding, wet sanding, dries it out. And it blends in the paint. Let's have a look at that. Woohoo! Look at that. That's got some colour to it. Right, so now we're going to add in a bit more of this mauve, I think. But what we'll do this time is make it a bit thicker. Oliver's got paint again. It's all over his hands. And we'll make this a bit thicker, and we'll just dab this in and around. So I hope today you've sort of seen a bit of turning. And now we're going to have a bit of colour. Bit of colour to the turning. Mike Walt's favourite thing. Give this a quick sand. Blend it in. Let's have a look at that. Eh? Change camera. Overhead. How's that? Can you see that better? So you can see we got the blues and the mauves going in. I fancy a bit more blue in here, so hold on. No expense spared, another cup. And we just mess around with the colour a little bit. I'll put the blue down somewhere safe over there. 3 drips, that'll be enough. Drop of water. I'm having to use the spray, I can't get me tap. I've surrounded it in rubbish. You need to say something else there, but you're not supposed to say that sort of words. So, there we go. Especially when your mum's about. Bit of blue. A bit of blue on there. And what we're going to do is go a bit El Natural with the old blue. I've got, if I can get it out the bottle, that is. Bit of El Natural on the cloth. Just cut the drips. Drag that around. In it in. And we're sanding just with a 400. Blend this in here. There, and we can start seeing the colours really come through. Now we could I wouldn't stand there. We could do a bit of centrifugal on it, see if that improves things a bit. And tip it on while it's wet. We can do the same with a bit of blue. Bit of water. We might walk, bit of water. What comes out the taps. Unlike our fibre broadband. We're just there. Bit of blue. You what? Thank you very much, Ivor. That's very kind of you. And I'm just drying that in. And we keep blending it in. And we've got 2 tones of blue there. I think it needs a little bit more of this mauve in it. Let's get a little bit more mauve. Typical Saturday morning for Oliver. He's back, he's covered in paint. My lathe bed is filthy. Got blue chuck. I need Karen to stand closer. Come and take the camera. And I turn the lathe, but she won't come near the camera. Or the paint. I don't know why. I don't understand. Now, well, I think we're getting somewhere.
Can they see you through the camera?
You should be able to see that coming up. Just show you, I just got a tad of paint on me, not a lot. I'm just going to sand that, blend that back in, and then we'll give it a coat of wax. I'm just going to go with a 600 grit. Yes, the last bit. Oh, change the head. 600 grit. Yes, the light sand off. How's that? Oh, magic. I'm just getting that bottom there. There. So I'm not going to muck about here. We're going to go straight on with a bit of wax. Whoop. Get rid of them cups, bit of wax. Normally you'd let this dry off, obviously, but this is just for the demo, so you've had a bit of colouring. Make sure you don't put painted cloth in your wax, otherwise the next thing you do will be painted as well. I've gone a bit heavy with the wax here. There's me saying earlier be light. I've gone heavy. So try and remove a bit of that before we buff it. There. A bit of safety cloth in my hand, smoother to buff with. Now let's buff this up. You can see what happens there with the wax, probably on the camera, the lines shooting across it, because there was too much wax in my enthusiasm. Mind your fingers on the chuck, support your hand, keep away from that as much as possible. They hurt. Metal chucks don't take any prisoners. Remember that. So you get good advice on a Saturday morning. Don't put your hand in a spinning chuck. Don't do as I do. Turn the lathe up too fast. So we're not going to finish that. Whoop. But there we have a little mauve. And need some lighting in here. Mauve and green. If I move that around, you can see the sheen on it. And you've got like mauves and greens, or purples rather than blues. Mauves and greens. Purple and blue. I'm colourblind. Purple and blue in there. Which is really quite effective for a colour, and also you've seen how we would fast turn a bowl. That's me done. You could have had another one, but it come flying off the lathe. This is the culprit that come flying off. What happened, the spigot busted out on the bottom. There weren't just enough meat on the spigot. Where I was turning back down, I made the spigot a bit small. You wouldn't normally turn back down. I was just trying to tidy it up. And then with the pressure of the cut, spins it off the lathe. So normally when you're doing this sort of work, face shield definitely. And that's the way it works. So I hope you've enjoyed your morning.
Adrian said you must fly like your bowl.
Adrian... Don't go flying like my bowl, mate. You'll land up on the floor on your nose. I hope you've enjoyed your morning. This is how we can do it quickly. Mrs. O has stayed out of the way of the paint. She's not covered in paint at all. I hope everybody has learnt something. Not to turn like Oliver. That's probably a good thing. Broadband fell over.
I like the quick release.
Quick release mechanism, yeah. If Mrs. Oliver was there, she could have caught it, you see. If she caught it, I might have been able to bang it back on the chuck. But she ran. Don't know why she ran. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for popping along. Thanks, Dick. Cheers, Richard. Glad you've enjoyed it. Thank you all very much for the donations. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Feel free to share the video with anybody you like. Cheers, Martin. Glad you've enjoyed it. Thanks, Ivor. Cheers, Malcolm. Cheers, Derek. Glad you found it in enjoyment. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Roger. Ian, thank you. Stuart, thanks very much. Don't forget, everybody, I think Stuart's back on this weekend. He can put it up if he's doing it. I mean, Mike Walk's back on Sunday night. I think EastEnders are on, so I might have to watch that. Refund. I'll refund you. Cheers, Timothy. Cheers, Nick. Thanks, Pat. Good to see you. Thanks, Stephen. I'm pulling shavings out my back pockets of my smock. Cheers, Grant. Cheers, Richard. Thanks, Robert. Cheers, John. Stay safe, yeah. Don't turn your lathe up too fast. Have a metal screen around you and put your hands through the screen. Thanks, Anne. Glad you've enjoyed it. Yeah, my bit rate's dropped out. It's lower than normal. Thanks very much, Broadband. I think I might have lost you again, have I? Oh no. Cheers, Mike. Cheers, Colin. See you next week, Derek. Yes, I'll be back. You never know, we might have decent broadband. Woohoo! It's like a little carrot, isn't it? In your nose, running after it. Right, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, hit the like button. We're at 80 likes. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share with your friends if you haven't shared any of my stuff before. All helps the channel. I look forward to watching some of the demos this weekend. And I'm going now for a cup of tea, and we got a couple of little bowls. I can juggle. Can't really. Couple of little bowls, just a way of entertaining you for the day. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. If you're in a part of the country where the coronavirus is running riot, I hope you're okay. It'd be nice for everybody to get on top of this. See you later, Jennifer. Bye, John. Right, everybody. It's been another fun Saturday morning. I've got some cleaning up to do, and I look forward to seeing you later. Cheers, Jean. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody that I missed. Thanks for the donation. Cheers, Paul. Glad you've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you all again Saturday morning. Ed, you were right. Last week I got past 100 subscribers. We did pass 100 subscribers. It carried on climbing and climbing and climbing. I was quite impressed. That was fantastic. It's only little things in life nowadays. 100 likes and stuff like that is really good. Again, thank you all. I'm going to go. If you've got any questions, you can always drop me an email or something. Sales at Oliver's Woodturning, and I'll get back to you. I hope you have a good week. Stay safe, all that stuff. And I'm going to end and say goodbye. So, auf Wiedersehen, pets.